Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a story that represents the absolute, undeniable pinnacle of human engineering. It's the journey of a brand that has consistently looked the word impossible right in the face and said, "Watch us." We're going to unpack the entire evolution of Bugatti, tracing its incredible lineage from classical artistry all the way to the bleeding-edge electrified frontier.
So it really all boils down to one incredibly provocative question. What actually happens when you combine fine art with the absolute limits of thermodynamics? Because honestly, that is the true essence of the journey we're on today. We're going to frame Bugatti's wild evolution, starting out as an aesthetic-driven philosophy founded in an old French dyeworks building, all the way to a modern engineering powerhouse that literally pushes the very boundaries of physics.
Section 1. Molsheim, where art meets engineering.
Way back in 1909, Ettore Bugatti set up shop in Molsheim, Alsace, with a pretty radical core philosophy for the time. Cars are an extension of fine art. To him, this wasn't just slapping metal together, it was literal sculpture. We see that classic era peak with the legendary Type 35, that beautiful teardrop-shaped masterpiece that absolutely dominated racing with over 2,000 victories. But, history happens. After a severe economic collapse, the tragic death of Ettore's son John, and the massive devastation of World War II, the brand had to shift. There was this brief, brilliant Italian revival in 1987 under Romano Ardioli before the company finally found a massive new home in 1998 under the Volkswagen umbrella. That kicked off an era of absolute dominance, leading us to the monumental, game-changing shift in 2021 to Rimac.
Section 2. The W16 Mechanical Masterpiece.
Stepping into that Volkswagen era brings us face to face with one of the most audacious engineering feats in human history. And the crazy part? It started with a sketch on the back of an envelope in 1997. Volkswagen chairman Ferdinand Piëch famously sketched out this totally ludicrous 18-cylinder engine while he was riding a high-speed Shinkansen train in Japan. That little sketch eventually evolved into the legendary 8.0-liter W16 engine. Just think about this scale for a second. At top speed, this quad-turbocharged Leviathan gulps down a staggering 60,000 liters of air every single minute. 60,000. And the thermal energy it produces? It generates enough heat to literally melt steel. Figuring out how to package and manage those thermodynamics was an absolute nightmare for the engineering team. To stop this massive engine from just totally destroying itself, engineers basically had to invent entirely new technologies from scratch. Take the Bugatti ion current sensing system, for example. Because a 16-cylinder engine runs so incredibly smoothly, your standard, everyday NOx sensors simply wouldn't work. They wouldn't feel a thing. So they built this custom software to monitor the ion current across the spark plugs at the exact microsecond of ignition. If it detects even a hint of a misfire, it dynamically adjusts the timing or deactivates the cylinder in actual milliseconds. Imagine your everyday commuter car thinking that fast. It's this brilliant software that allows the hand-assembled W16 to operate safely right at the absolute edge of physical limits.
Section 3. Shattering world speed records. Once they actually managed to harness all that unprecedented power, Bugatti developed a total, undeniable obsession with breaking the laws of aerodynamics and hitting absolute maximum velocity on the test track. Here is the first major modern milestone of that obsession. Back in June 2010, the Varion 16.4 Supersport hit the ERLSC in proving rounds and achieved a mind-bending 431.07 kilometers per hour. To even survive those extreme velocities, engineers had to completely redesign the chassis from the ground up, and they upgraded the W16 engine with these massive enlarged intercoolers to pump out 1,200 horsepower. But of course, they didn't stop there. No way. Building massive momentum into 2019, veteran racer Andy Wallace piloted the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus and completely obliterated the mythic 300-mile-per-hour barrier, clocking in at an unbelievable 490.484 kilometers per hour. That is just a monumental leap in top speed. To pull that off, Bugatti utilized what they call an extended long-tail bodywork design. By stretching out the rear deck, they've managed to reduce aerodynamic stall by a massive 40%. This allowed the car to essentially slice through the air with minimal drag. This relentless, completely unapologetic escalation of speed throughout the W16 era finally culminated in November 2024 with the W16 Mistral. Andy Wallace once again strapped in to set an open-top world record of nearly 454 kilometers per hour. Now, achieving that kind of speed in a roadster is wild. It meant they had to meticulously mask the body panel gaps to get perfectly laminar airflow, and of course they completely removed the electronic speed limiter. It was truly the ultimate, glorious swan song for the W16's record-breaking run. Section 4. Coach building and ultimate exclusivity.
But raw speed is really only half the story here. Bugatti also started returning to its deeply artistic roots, stepping away from standard rolling chassis to craft these ultra-exclusive, customized automotive sculptures. To handle this, they launched Sur Mesure, which is French for tailored. This bespoke division let Bugatti create some truly breathtaking one-offs. The most famous one? Definitely La Voiture Noire, an €11 million masterpiece hand-fabricated entirely from gloss-finished black carbon fiber. It was actually built as a direct, deeply personal homage to Jean Bugatti's lost Type 57 SC Atlantic, a legendary car that just vanished without a trace during World War II.
And that exclusivity, it only deepens with the 2025 program Solitaire. This is a hyper-exclusive tier, strictly capped at just 2 cars globally per year. Its inaugural masterpiece is the true one-of-one Bugatti Brouillard. Named after Ettore Bugatti's own beloved white and gray horse, the Brouillard is built on that final 1,600 horsepower W16 platform, and the attention to detail is just staggering. Inside the cabin, there's actually a handcrafted miniature sculpture of Ettore's horse, permanently encased in clear glass right inside a solid aluminum gear shifter. Talk about a perfect emotional bridge connecting the brand right back to its historic equestrian roots.
Section 5. Rimac integration and the hybrid frontier.
Now, the whole automotive landscape is radically changing, which brings us to a massively dramatic corporate shift. Porsche divested its stake, handing Rimac CEO Mate Rimac full developmental sovereignty over Bugatti's future. And here's where it gets really interesting. When Volkswagen executives originally demanded that the Chiron's successor be a fully electric hypercar, Mate Rimac boldly pushed back in a pretty high-stakes showdown. He argued strongly that a pure EV would completely lack the emotional soul of a Bugatti. Instead, he brought a physical-scale model to pitch a highly emotional, naturally aspirated hybrid, actively shielding the brand from becoming just another fast but silent electric vehicle.
And that showdown led to a seriously daring engineering pivot. Bugatti is completely ditching the outgoing 8.0-liter quad-turbo W16 of the Chiron for the brand-new Tourbillon. The Tourbillon drops those heavy turbos entirely in favor of an all-new 8.35-liter naturally aspirated V16 developed with Cosworth. It revs to an absolutely screaming 9,000 RPM. And when you combine that with 3 high-performance electric motors, the total system output jumps to an astonishing 1,800 horsepower. Now, in a world that is just completely obsessed with slapping massive digital touchscreens on every surface, the interior of the Tourbillon actively rebels against that modern trend. It serves as a stunning celebration of analog Swiss horology. Built with Swiss watchmaker Concepto, the instrument cluster is 100% analog. It's crafted from titanium and sapphire glass with these beautiful, skeletonized visible gears. The steering wheel has a fixed central hub, meaning the cluster remains perfectly static while you turn the wheel around it. They even deliberately hide the digital infotainment screen away to ensure the cabin remains completely timeless.
But, as you might guess, hybridization brings entirely new challenges to the table. During continuous full-throttle acceleration, the 800-volt battery faces sharp voltage drops. You start out with the full 1,800 horsepower, but after 30 seconds of continuous throttle, which, by the way, you'd absolutely need for top-speed record runs, the battery drains and the output drops down to 1,544 horsepower. This thermal limit isn't just a Bugatti problem. It is a massive, industry-wide hurdle for all high-performance EVs that Rimac now has to figure out how to solve. To overcome this roadblock, Rimac Technology is looking ahead to 2030 with a brilliant 3-pronged attack. Step 1. They're developing solid-state batteries to replace volatile liquid electrolytes, which allows for sustained peak power delivery. Step 2. They're integrating carbon composite enclosures developed with Mitsubishi to shed 30 kilograms of weight. And step 3, they plan to deploy modular e-axles that weigh just over 100 pounds, but somehow generate a mind-blowing 500 horsepower. This is exactly how they plan to maintain absolute mechanical dominance. Which leaves us with a totally fascinating final thought. As Bugatti integrates these solid-state technologies and inevitably pushes beyond the 500 kilometers per hour barrier, will the quest for the ultimate machine finally break the laws of physics, or just rewrite them? From a little French dye-works building to a quad-turbo W16, and now a screaming electrified V16 hypercar, Bugatti's relentless evolution proves they are never quite finished. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this leaves you as hungry as I am to see what the future holds.